Hi guys, my name is Kyle August, and I'm going to help you manifest your specific person in the quickest and easiest way possible. If you have ever felt like you have made a mistake during your manifestation or said something you didn't like or did something you didn't want to do to your specific person, and you felt like you shouldn't have done that, this video is for you. So I wanted to talk about today what to do if you feel as though you make a mistake with manifestation. Now, first and foremost, I will say you could never mess up your manifestation. No matter what, if you fall out of the state, it's as easy as just moving back into it, and you will see the results begin to pour in again. But let's say you do something that you didn't necessarily like. Let's say you got upset with your specific person, fell out of the state, which is completely normal, sent your specific person some crazy text about how you never want to see them again, you hate them, you hate their guts, all this stuff. Again, this can happen if we kind of forget who we are, we forget our power internally, we can allow our external reality to take control of us. But here's what we're going to do in that situation, and I'm going to explain why it is so important. So, what is the normal reaction if we do make this sort of mistake in our external reality? We instantly begin to try and recover, right? We try to make up for it. But what I have found through my entire time coaching, through my own manifestation journey, I have found that when you begin to go back and correct the mistake, you are only giving more attention and energy to that mistake. So instead of doing that, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do instead. Because if you attempt to correct a mistake, you are indirectly stating through your subconscious mind and through your actions that the mistake actually did occur. But remember that our entire external reality is a reflection of what we are thinking and feeling internally. So if we are going to go and attempt to resolve a mistake, if the mistake never happened, we would never attempt to do it. Now, I would say there are certain times that if you feel guilty or something about a mistake, of course you are going to apologize from it. But what I suggest to do instead, and you will always get positive results through this, is that instead of correcting that mistake, instead of putting yourself back into that previous mindset, that previous state that caused those feelings, those less than positive actions, we are going to just act from the new state from that time forward, all right? So if you felt insecure or jealous and did something about that, instead of attempting to go back, relive, put yourself in that state and try to resolve it, you are just going to act from a confident state from there on out. Remember, like always, your entire reality is a reflection of what you are thinking and feeling internally. So if at some point you felt jealous, made a mistake, said something you didn't want to do, pulled yourself out of the state, that's fine. Your reality will reflect that. And you might see something that you don't want, but that's okay. Because if we then switch it instantaneously, you can see all those mistakes, quote unquote, you can't make a mistake. All those things you feel you did wrong completely evaporate just by acting from the new state from there on out. I see this countless times when it comes to my coaching sessions, people's stories, my own personal stories of through manifestation, everything I do. I have never had something go wrong acting from the new state, and I've seen it go not so well every single time I've ever attempted to go back and correct a mistake that came from a past state. But to reiterate, it is because when you go to correct a old mistake or anything like that, you have to go back into that state mentally, right? You have to take blame and become conscious of that mistake, or else there's no way to correct it. If you don't do that, it's more or less we don't want to do that for obvious reasons. You're not going to feel good. It's going to feel bad. It's going to put you into a less abundant state. You're going to start becoming conscious of that mistake and have it become your identity or your reality. But if instead, again, we move on, we just act from the new state, we're going to see massive changes in the positive. Many people don't feel the motivation to do this and try to act from that old state because they don't feel as if it is possible to resolve anything in their external reality by acting from the new state. But I can guarantee you that it absolutely will correct it. It's that same outcome that, remember, your internal state is more important than anything outside of you, 100%. But sometimes we can allow our subconscious mind, our conscious, our logical mind, to outweigh and feel as though we need to exert action or energy to and go and get what we want. An example of this would be, again, let's say back to the previous example that you felt jealous, maybe you were in a less than positive state, you said something to your specific person that you did not want to say, you felt was not from an abundant state. In that case, we just consciously become the confident person that we want. But our logical mind will say this: how is changing your mind going to fix what happened? How is your specific person going to know this change that you just made internally, right? You probably have 100% felt those feelings or thought those thoughts in the past, right? I know I 100% have. But that is worrying about a how or when once it comes to manifestation. You never have to worry about how your manifestation is going to show up or when it's going to show up. 100%. You've heard me say this. 100% of all the anxieties you are ever going to have during manifestation is worrying about how or when your manifestation comes into your reality. But it's not up to you. If you begin to act from the confident state, you radiate that entire power through your subconscious mind throughout the entire universe. People will respond. You will see miraculous things that you didn't even think would be possible occur just by acting from the new state. It is absolutely ridiculous. I say, if you ever feel like you, again, made a mistake, think of this video. Don't try to go back and fix it or change it. Just act from the new state, and you will see that things become way better, way quicker, more than you could ever even imagine to be possible. Because, again, if we put ourselves back into that old state, we only reiterate that. We see more of that. But if we put ourselves into a confident state, we then see more of that. So 100%. If you ever needed more advice on this or had any questions, leave it down in the comments below. That's all I really wanted to talk about on this so far, because I've had a lot of people recently kind of talk about this idea, and I thought it's very important. I talk about it in my coaching sessions, but I thought it's very important for absolutely everyone to know in this instance. But like I said, any questions, leave it in the comments. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you wanted some one-on-one coaching, you can head over to kyleaugustcoaching.com, or just wanted to ask me a personal question, head over there. You can also check out my TikTok, which is Manifestation Man, for some fun videos. But with that, I'll see you guys next time. One more thing, I always forget to mention this. If you wanted a more detailed response on everything that we talk about, for the most part, I actually have a book that I wrote called Manifest Your Specific Person that's going to guide you through the whole process. It's found on Amazon, Manifest Your Specific Person by Kyle August. I'll leave a little description of it in the description below. I'll leave that, but check it out if you have time.